Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Nurlatiffah. I'm from PI3. So I have an assignment from Sir Holland for reading article. There are two articles. The first title of article is How to Give a Good Speech, and the next article is What You Don't Know About the Exercise. So directly to first article, How to Give a Good Speech. So you have to give a speech and you are terrified, you get nervous, you forget what you want to say, you stumble over the words, you talk too loud and you bore your audience. Later, you think, thank goodness it's over. I'm just no good at public speaking. I hope I never have to do that again. Cheer up, it doesn't have to be that bad. Here are some simple steps to take the pain out of speak making. First of all, it's important to plan. Do your homework, find out everything you can about your subject, and at the same time, find out as much as you can about your audience. Who are they? What do they know about your subject? Do they have a common interest? What are they coming to hear you speak? Put yourself in their shoes as you prepare your speech. Ask yourself the purpose of your speech. What is the occasion? What are you speaking? Are you introducing another speaker? Moderating a discussion, giving a lecture, convincing someone? There are many possible speaking rules, and each one has its own special characteristic. Make sure you know into which category you fit. Don't spoil your speech by confusing one speaking role with another. Let us suppose that you have been asked to introduce the main speaker at the conference. First, find out the most important and interesting things about the speaker. Then summarize this information in a few remarks. It's alright to tell a joke or an anecdote if it's a good tale and will not embarrass the speaker. And the most important, be brief. Remember, you are not the main speaker. You are introducing the main speaker. If you are the moderator, you should begin by giving a quick introduction of the people on the panel. After that, you should try to keep a discussion running smoothly. And you should try to focus on the connection between speakers. Keep yourself in the background. Don't talk too much and don't interrupt the panelists. Be tactful and be considerate. If you are giving a lecture or explaining an idea, gather as many facts as you can on your subject. Spend plenty of time doing your research. Then spend plenty of time organizing your material so that your speech is clear and easy to follow. Use as many examples as possible and use pictures, charts, and graphs. If they will help you make your points more clearly, never forget your audience. Don't talk over their head and don't talk down to them. Treat your audience with respect. They will appreciate your thoughtfulness. If you are trying to sell something, you will need to convince your audience. Do you want them to vote for candidate A? Are you offering them a new improved toothbrush? This kind of speech is usually dramatic, but here too, you must do your research and know your facts. When you are making your speech, try to relax. Speak slowly and clearly and look at the people in your audience. Use simple vocabulary and expression whenever possible. Pause your few seconds now and then to give your audience a chance to think about what you have said. Make sure that everyone in the room can hear you. If it's a large room or an auditorium, you will probably have to use a microphone. Just remember, be prepared. Know your subject, your audience, and your occasion. Be brief. Say what you have to say and then stop and be yourself. Let your personality come through so that you make person-to-person contact with your audience. If you follow the simple steps, you see that you don't have to be afraid of public speaking. In fact, you may find the experience so enjoyable that you volunteer to make more speeches. You're not confident. Give it a try and see what happens. So, next to the second article, you don't know about exercise. Everyone advises, but immediately When you try, you run into the trouble. There is so much contradictory, sometimes incorrect advice about exercising that you become confused. Test yourself on the following true false quiz. It will tell you what you need to know. The best way to reduce the midsection is to do abdominal exercise. False. Many people believe that when specific muscles are exercised, but fatty tissues is the immediate area are burned out. The truth is that exercise burns fat from all over the body and not from one specific area, regardless of the type of exercise. Of course, if you reduce that fat throughout your body, you will certainly see results around your waistline too. To maintain an adequate level of physical fitness, you need to exercise only twice a week. Only twice a week. False. Studies conducted by NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, show that an exercise muscle lose their strength very quickly. After 48 to 72 hours, you must use the muscle again to re-establish the good physical effect. And what does this mean to you? NASA scientists concluded that while daily exercise is not beneficial, 3 alternative days each week will maintain an adequate level of physical fitness. To lose weight, you should always work up good sweat when exercising. False. Sweating only lowers body temperature to prevent overheating. It doesn't help you reduce. You may weight less immediately after a workout, but this is due to water loss. Once you replace the liquid, you replace the weight. You burn more calories jogging 1 mile than walking the same distance. False. You use the same amount of energy whether you walk or jog 2 miles. Since in both cases you are moving the same weight in the same distance, the speed doesn't matter. Of course, if you jog rather than walk for 30 minutes, you will cover more distance and therefore burn more calories. If your breathing doesn't return to normal within minutes after you finish exercise, you've exercised too much. True, 5 minutes or so after exercising, your breathing should be normal. Your heart shouldn't be pounding and you shouldn't be exhausted. Beneficial exercise is not overly difficult, unpleasant, and exhausting. It's moderate, enjoyable, and refreshing. Walking is one of the best exercises. True, walking helps circulation of blood throughout that body and thus has a direct effect on your overall feeling of health. Vigorous stretching exercise keeps muscle flexible. False. Stretching exercise, for example, twisting or bending at the waist, touching your toes, shouldn't be done slowly, allowing the muscle to relax and let go. Vigorous stretching makes the muscle become tighter. The minimum amount of the short span exercising in a day is 20 minutes. True, there are more than 400 muscles that attach to your skeleton. A good exercise routine shouldn't contract and stretch all those muscles, and this simply cannot be done with 4 or 5 exercises in 5 or 10 minutes. From experience, I've found that about 20 minutes is the minimum amount of time needed for an adequate workout. How long it takes you to become the physical fit depends on how unfit you are when you start. If you are out of condition, you are certainly can't shape up in 21 days. However, shaping up doesn't do any good unless you plan to stay in shape, and that means exercising from now on. It takes as much exercise to stay in shape as it doesn't to get there. But the work won't seem as hard after a while because your body will be in a good condition and all the movies will seem easier. So guys, I'm done. Thank you and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.